Reforming our government will help keep us on the right track. But of course, no issue will be more important to our future prosperity than our ability to educate our children. I know the topic of education in Holyoke has weighed heavily on our minds in recent months. While we all agree our schools must improve, the prospect of receivership has many people concerned. The issue is also near and dear to my heart. Like many of you, I'm a graduate of the public schools. I have a niece and 2 nephews in our schools. And I wouldn't be standing before you today if it weren't for the great teachers I had, many of whom are still teaching in our schools today. But we cannot ignore the overwhelming evidence that our schools need improvement. We have the lowest 3rd grade reading proficiency in the state, one of the highest dropout rates, and one of the lowest graduation rates. This is not to say we haven't made progress. In fact, what these last few years should tell us is that our schools are still capable of great things. Last year, the increase in our graduation rate was the highest of all gateway cities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our teen pregnancy rate dropped by 32% between 2010 and 2012, the biggest reduction in the state. We all know that poverty contributes to these challenges our teachers and students face. But poverty can no longer be an excuse for unacceptable outcomes. In Holyoke, we must work so that all kids get the same quality education, whether they live in a homeless shelter or in the Highlands. We can still do better, and indeed, we must. But as we move forward, we must stop pointing fingers. It is time to share collective blame for our schools and accept collective responsibility to change them. I understand that the recent state review of our district has raised tensions. That is why, in all of my meetings with state officials, I have made the case for the hard work we are doing here. And the same is true for Dr. Paez, Dr. Hyrie, and our public school teachers. I also joined my colleagues on the school committee last week in sending a letter to the Department of Early and Secondary Education that makes the case to maintain local control. While we cannot know what the decision the commissioner will make, we should agree on some basic truths. For example, we must agree that the status quo will not do, that our city cannot tolerate hundreds of students leaving our schools each year, or the fact that only 1 in 10 of our students can read proficiently in the 3rd grade. We must do better. Further, we should agree that local control matters, which is to say that a corporate takeover of our district or a charter organization running our district is not acceptable either. Whatever the state decides, I will fight to ensure that our voices are heard, and that we can work collaboratively and cooperatively to change our schools. For the sake of our students, we need to pull together in common effort.